Third gold coin. No fear of failure. Have you heard the story of a man whose favourite horse falls into a deep well? He can't pull it out no matter how hard he tries. Then he decides to do something different and pours soil onto the horse from above. The horse feels the load, shakes it off and steps on it. More soil is poured. The horse shakes it off and steps up. The more the load was poured, the higher it rose, and finally the horse jumped out of the well. This scenario establishes an interesting success recipe for all of us in life. You might have observed people trapped in life and their professional career, and they cannot find a way out of their situation, and the heaps of problems just seem to be showered on them consistently by other people, like their managers, office colleagues, and other relations. They simply stay inside the deep well of problems and allow themselves to be buried underneath the burden of dejection and despair thrown at them by others. There are so many who have given up. They are faced against the odds and are currently buried in the same way. But then there are vigorous people who understand that any setback in life is actually setting them to come back. They actually take every such painful experience as a learning inventory in life to make much wiser decisions further ahead in life. And the heap of hatred and dejection thrown onto them by others is simply shaken off, and they step up to rise one step higher than they previously were. If you are currently feeling trapped inside your company or stuck somewhere in a wrong relationship which is currently draining all of your energy, then do not wait to get buried under the burden. This is a message for you to consistently shake it off from yourself. Try to improve upon the situation by sincerely looking into other methods and options with a victorious mindset. You will surely find the way out. So if you are trapped in a depressed mood because of certain situations, then the fabulous mantra of success to live by is shake it off, and shake it off. A contrasting tragedy is when we grow up and our learned fear of failure comes in full throttle and we start capping our efforts towards our goals and dreams. Maybe you have heard such statements from many people around saying that you can't do this or that, or you are not capable of doing it, and so on. Don't you think these are simply someone's fear of failure, which they are transmitting towards you to restrict you from taking bigger steps in life to succeed? For example, say you want to progress in your existing job, but are equally afraid of the new responsibilities associated with it. The fear of failure haunts you when opportunities arise where you might show up and prove your caliber by facing challenges, but you simply step aside. Always remember that for leading successful lives and careers, fear of failure is never an option. As professionals, we are capable of doing each and everything, and we can learn from what other people have already learned. So walk towards your fears and try and test each and everything that you have feared up until now. Learn new skills, volunteer yourself in all the projects which you possibly can, and soon you will gain an interesting self-discovery about yourself. While I was learning how to swim, I learned an interesting lesson. Once, during the class, my swimming instructor was yelling towards me, "Do not look into the water. Look straight and jump." And I was embarrassing myself while standing on the edge of the swimming pool and picking up the courage to dive into the pool. But every time I looked down into the water, my confidence started shrinking and the fear surmounting that I would not be able to do this. But when my instructor consistently prompted me to just look straight and jump, I finally did it. It was not difficult at all. The fear of drowning I had created in my mind was on a much exaggerated scale. Our mind has so many pictures associated with the word fear that whenever we go into that state by representing to ourselves that we are fearful, our mind instantly opens up all the stored files related to fear which we have experienced in the past. This is the reason why all of our senses feel frozen under the emotion of fear and activate our fight or flight behavior. Remember, all constraints are purely internal. That I learned during one of the business trips to Sri Lanka. I visited an elephant orphanage house. It was an interesting experience, seeing such large animals standing still, being held only by a small rope instead of big chains tied to their legs. Out of curiosity, I asked the person in charge regarding the scenario. Why are these elephants making no attempt to break free from that tiny rope and run away? He replied with a very interesting answer. When these elephants were very young, they used the same size rope to tie them, and these baby elephants always tried very hard at that time to break the rope, but they were not able to do that. After so many repeated failures, they actually have given up, and now, although they are grown in size and possess the power to easily break free, they are not able to do so because of their earlier childhood mental conditioning. Their earlier failed attempts are now ingrained in their minds. This rope is unbreakable, so they will never try to break free from it again. There is a very interesting comparison for many human beings in this life who are grown up and have all the power and potential to break away from their limiting beliefs which they might have received during childhood by their society or friends. Until today, some of those experiences act as mental blocks which hold them back from taking any bigger and bolder steps in life. So they think small, act small, live small, and die small. My personal example is not very different. Since childhood, I attained a limiting belief that I am a shy person and that I could not communicate effectively. I literally lived 20 years of my life with the same limiting belief. But since the time I challenged those limiting beliefs and broke through my mental blocks with just a simple jolt, my life changed entirely. Today, I have trained thousands of professionals in many countries around the globe. So believe me, if I can do it, you can do it as well. From today, just decide that there are no barriers against your potential or capacity to perform, and whatsoever you have achieved thus far in every domain of your professional and personal life is not more than the tip of an iceberg, and the very best is still hidden within yourself. Remember, you are the only one who can dig that precious treasure of potential out from within yourself. So why wait? This world is waiting for you right now to show up. Let's learn something more interesting from kids. What if I ask you about some of the qualities you have picked up from the kids playing around you? You might notice that kids are very keen learners. They are deeply engrossed in whatever activity they are involved in, wholeheartedly. While playing, if they fight amongst each other, they do not carry any grudges in their heart and tend to be very honest and transparent towards each other. They only live in today and enjoy every moment of life. One of the most significant abilities they have is that they do not have any fear of failure, and they always try every new thing with zeal and zest. This is the main reason why they learn and develop so rapidly. Have you ever realized that we also had all of the same abilities at that age? Then what happened when we grew up? Where did all such precious assets go? Who robbed us of such precious gifts? Is the social environment where we were brought up, or the family we lived in, or our society responsible for this? The question is not who has robbed this from us. The question is how we can regain it. As our Creator knows our needs and also wants to see us successful in every domain of our life, so He has given us the ingredients essentially required in our body chemistry and mindset to achieve our objective of success. These characteristics are so deeply ingrained into our mechanism that if we do a simple effort on a consistent basis, we can regain our lost assets. The formula is to intentionally shut the doors of our ears and eyes from all the sources which may give us a feeling of disbelief and self-doubt regarding ourselves and our abilities. Disconnect yourself from all the negative-minded people who inject negative thoughts into your thinking mainframe system. And then you must switch on all the positive channels and sources of information and bring all the positive-minded people into your life. This mechanism will start to change your mental software program, and with consistent practice, you will start attaining the control over your mind, and all the dormant powers which were once dominant when you were a kid will start to awaken within yourself. So, are you ready to live with these golden principles of never giving up, no fear of failure, no grudges in heart, and forgiveness for others? I congratulate you to be born again. Summary. 1. Our fears are mainly created inside our own mind. These are actually the learned behaviors, which can be unlearned easily. 2. Kids are the best examples to learn by because they achieve because of their absence of fear of failure. 3. We are creative by default. So many times we actually exaggerate our scale of fears. 4. One of the sure ways to achieve success is to safeguard the contents of what is going on inside our mind through our senses. And 5. Only conscious selection of positive content programs us to be self-assured.